Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anand. The question that I'm going to ask you at the very beginning of this podcast episode is the following. Should the United States Department of Education be abolished? That is correct. We are talking about the Federal Department of Education. And I'm going to repeat the question. The question is, should the United States Department of Education be abolished? My friends, in order to restore people's confidence in the federal government, I believe that the U.S. Department of Education must be abolished. That is my opinion as an American citizen, as an American voter, as an American taxpayer, and as someone who understands the pain of having the burden of student loans. There are reports that President Donald Trump may issue an executive order regarding this matter. I don't know this for sure, which is why I'm paying a lot of attention paying attention to the news updates. And I am eager to find out if President Trump is going to take executive action regarding the Department of Education. My friends, when you hear the name of this department, it sounds so great. The Department of Education. It seems like this department would focus on improving education. It sounds like this department wants to make sure that students are able to read and to write and to do mathematics. It sounds like this is the department that would ensure that students grow up to be productive individuals in society. And it seems to people that this is the department that's going to make sure that our country can compete globally. But in reality, the U.S. Department of Education has created a massive web of rules and regulations and bureaucratic red tape, a complex web, a web of rules and regulations and red tape. And all these rules and regulations and red tape have actually hurt education. In fact, the results from the 2024 National Assessment of Educational Progress test show that literacy skills of 4th and 8th grade students have dropped. If you pay attention to the state of education in America, my friends, you are going to see many challenges and many issues. If the trend continues, then we are going to lose our global competitiveness. And so what have we really gained by having this so-called Federal Department of Education? And when you look at university education, you will find many problems. Costs are going up. It's becoming harder and harder to afford university education. Many students borrow lots of money to go and attend classes at various colleges and universities. And many of these borrowers do not have any idea how big their monthly payments will be once they start repaying the student loans. And so a lot of borrowers, they complete their education, they find a job, they start earning an income, but then they realize that their monthly student loan payments are so huge that it creates tremendous hardship for them. And so many Americans, as they make payments towards their student loans, they realize that they don't have enough money left over to buy a house or to invest for the future or to get a decent car. And so the burden of student loans can continue for years and years and years, and people face tremendous hardship because of the huge monthly payments. And of course, student loans can also be very helpful if the borrowers have the right information about the loans and if they can make informed decisions. But we do see that many people in this country, they suffer tremendously. They face big problems and a lot of hardship because of the burden of student loans. The point is, this is a big failure of the government. The Department of Education has created a system that results in financial hardship for many borrowers in this country because the department does not provide adequate information to the borrowers about how burdensome the student loans could be. And because of insufficient information, a lot of borrowers make the wrong decision and they end up with massive financial hardship. And as a country, if you look at the total amount of student loans, it's an unbelievably large number. The total amount of student loans in the United States, it is $1.6 trillion. And this is as of June of 2024. Reportedly, student loan debt is the third largest source of household debt in America. We have seen over the years, my friends, that students kept borrowing money for college and university education, and these educational institutions then started increasing their fees, which made the students borrow more money, and the cost of education just kept going up. And more than 44 million Americans have student loans. That is a very, very large number. And many Americans cannot afford to make monthly payments on their student loans. And I understand what the burden of student loans means, what this burden means, because I have experienced it myself. And let me tell you, the burden of student loans is crushing the future of many Americans. Many Americans are stuck in this mess. And because of the loan burden, they are not able to move forward in life. Even as they are earning money, they are having to pay a huge portion of their income in repaying the student loans and interest. The interest added to the principal creates tremendous burden. And so this whole mess has been created by the Department of Education. And for so many years, no one could think about abolishing this department. Many people still cannot imagine abolishing the Department of Education. They think it's too big, it cannot be abolished. Well, let me tell you, this department needs to be seriously downsized, and the best thing would be to completely abolish the US Department of Education. Now the question is, can that be accomplished through an executive order? I don't know. Will there be an executive order to create a pathway for abolishing this department? We have to wait and find out. I do applaud President Donald Trump's efforts to make the federal government more efficient by cutting fraud, waste, and abuse. President Donald J. Trump was elected to take bold action, and that is exactly what he is doing. As an American citizen, as an American voter, as an American taxpayer, I can confidently say this: we will cheer if President Trump takes action to eliminate this massive bureaucracy known as the Department of Education. And we have a Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, who I believe will take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of this massive department. The Democrats have used the Department of Education to implement their left-wing agenda. Using federal dollars, the department has pushed left-wing policies in schools across the country. Instead of focusing on reading, writing, history, math, and science, this massive bureaucracy has promoted woke policies in the education sector of our country. And this must come to an end, and it is coming to an end because of the Trump administration's efforts to downsize the federal government. My friends, I believe that education should be handled by the states and not by this gigantic bureaucracy. I want to see the US Department of Education be abolished. Now the question is, will President Trump take action to create a pathway to abolish this federal Department of Education? We have to wait and see. My friends, I want to hear from you. Share with me your thoughts. Get in touch with me and let me know your opinion on this matter. You can send me an email. My email address is tosif@tosifanam.net. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, and I'm also on Truth Social. So get in touch with me, share with me your thoughts and opinions. Thank you, my friends. Thank you once again for continuing to listen to my podcast. And I hope to be back again soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam.